Okay, I want to talk about things that are taught traditionally that could be improved upon, or things that are changed. People teach the way they were taught. They don't usually give a lot of thought to it. And I want to talk about a few things in traditional training that I think can be improved. One is you have to accept a couple concepts. The first concept is that under pressure, people respond to what they learn first. And you might find this hard to believe, but if you've ever seen anybody who switched systems or something, they trained in it for 6 months, now they come and they train for 10 years. Under pressure, one of those techniques they learned in the first 6 months somewhere come flying out of there, because it's what their muscle memory is most deeply ingrained. Secondarily, if they don't respond with what they learned first, they respond with what they do most. So repetitive training can overcome your initial responses, but why put those flawed initial responses in there first if you can help it? I'm going to start with a very obvious example. I think it's obvious. It's rejected by people who think, oh no, I was taught that way, I have to teach that way. And that is how to teach front kicks. I suspect that the majority of people who are taught front kicks in traditional karate, or especially in Shotoryu, are taught to be in a front stance, put your hand at your side, and you move forward and kick. And people think, well, what is wrong with that? The problem is this arm position. So then these people get to be in kumite matches at brown belt, shodan level, or even I've seen masters do this, and they kick. Whoa! Why do they kick this way? Because they were taught to kick this way. It is not a natural reaction. I think you should teach beginners to coil under their arms and kick, so that this becomes the habit. After they've been kicking a while, if you want at purple belt level, 5th kyu, 4th kyu, to spend some time this way, so they can pay attention to their shoulders, their structure as they kick, that's fine. Where this actually came from was a kata that we don't even do in Shotokan. There's pictures of masters applying it while they're grabbing on their opponent, kicking them in the groin, having nothing to do with our training. They just think this is a simplification. So in general, I do not ever think you should put your hands at your side and teach somebody how to front kick, even though almost everybody does that. A second one, we'll get more and more controversial as we go here. The second one is teaching, like, let's say, blocks. People teach rising blocks this way to beginners. They teach outside blocks this way to beginners. They teach inside blocks this way to beginners. They teach downward blocks this way to beginners. And then people move across the floor and they go like this, and they say, why aren't they twisting their hips? Because your very initial muscle memory, the concept of what to do is you taught them to stand here. So I suggest it's just as easy to teach them to stand here and turn their body sideways if you don't want to confuse them with moving their feet forward. This will at least ingrain in them that they're supposed to be twisting when they do this kind of thing. Okay? Try it, you'll like it. We'll try this one. We'll try some rising blocks. Put your left hand up in the air, twist your hip, right hand block this way. 1. Then you're just going to switch and block to the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Try outside blocks. Coil up high. 1, twist to center. 2, twist to center. 3, 4, 5, 6, higher. 7, yep. 8, no, not that so far. 9, yeah. Okay, this has nothing to do with this teaching method, but just a general concept about outside blocks. And I guess it does have to do with this teaching method, because I think if you can't stand somebody in place and teach them to outside block, their arm swings a long ways across their body. And everybody in Shotokans know that bigger motions are better, so they continue to do this throughout their karate career. The reality is that if they start with their hand to their side as they're moving forward, and their hip rotates this far, 45 degrees, give or take a little, their arm moves this far. It's a tiny block. It went a long ways, but it went a long ways because you moved your torso, not because you swung your arm. So the same goes true for winding up. I want you to wind up high, and this is kind of like the same reason that a baseball player holds the bat up high. It's a better biomechanical kinesiology movement. If you drop the bat, there's no structure to support your swing. When you do a block this way, I can see it, there's no structure to support your swing. So start up high and let it drop. Also though, it only goes this far. It doesn't stretch so far back that you're stretching apart your torso. Try a couple more of these. Coil up to the side. Twist your hip and block in front. 1, twist. Coil, 2, twist. Coil, 3. Coil, 4. Coil, 5. There we go. Try inside blocks. Try to get your elbow to come across the middle. Inside block. 1, 2, jump it up. 3, 4, 5. Try the elbow blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try knife hand blocks. 1, spin. 2, I know it's weird without the right hands. 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Nice stop. Shake it out. Can you see how both of those ideas, the arms not on your side, rather in front, and the learning the very first initial movements with the actual body twist would help? Yeah. A lot of people will reject it. Oh no, that's too hard, that's too advanced, we teach just the higher belts. Well yeah, and then you have to spend years unteaching them not to twist or not to have your arms on them. And again, because I've seen masters kicking, they learned this 20, 30 years ago. They still do it even though they know they're open to being hit. Very hard to unlearn. The next one, I teach you guys all the time, so this will not be such a radical shock to you. The vast majority of the Shotokan world, and I would think traditional karate world also, teaches things in 2 steps. So if they're going to do a step and punch, they go 1, and then they go 2. No problem. The problem I have is the stop in the middle. I love the idea of teaching it in 2 parts. But the stop in the middle doesn't serve any purpose. People quit here. They get bored, they wait, and half the time, if you remember being a beginner, you forgot what leg's supposed to go, so you guess. So I want to eliminate this stop. It doesn't do you any good. I want to glide from here to here, about 3/4 of the way out. No punch. 3/4 of the way out, then you punch. Pop. Driving off, getting your body to move, throw your hand. Same is true of all blocks. Get this far, pull and twist. This does several things. One is it gives your legs a direction and alignment, holds your torso together so your elbows should be squeezing together, then you chop in a straight line. And I say that this, half the time your butt's out, your arms are loose, because you don't have to keep control of your balance. And you try to be strong. We will try this moving across the floor. Left leg forward, downward block. 3/4 of a step. You're going to do oizuki. So just hold it. 3/4 of a step. 1. So your front heel is up off the ground. Your elbows are pulling into your spine. Shock your left hip to meet your right hand. 2. Chop. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1, 2. Turn. Rising blocks. 3/4 of a step. 1, 3/4. Arms reaching for center. Squeeze again. 2. Pull your drawing arm down to your center. 1. Squeeze in. Pull all the way to your back heel. Just push forward. Push forward. There you go. 2. 1. 2. Twist more to the 1, 2, 1, 2. Turn it up. Nice. We'll do more of the 2-count stuff later, and also for changes in traditional karate training, I think that all kata movements, possibly all basics, but all kata should be taught with a self-defense application from the very first time you try it, so that that's in your head as you do the kata, rather than movements that seem to make no sense, and then later they try to tell you what it's for, and you forget what the movements are. It would be a radically different approach. This will be the subject of some future videos. Okay, so David asked an interesting question, and this is about committing to the forward action. So the way he started out, arm out, you're going to do half a step, or 3/4. 1, before your butt was out even more, but even, that's all right. But even at this point, you're not truly committed forward. If I pull on you a little bit, you don't have these muscles driving in towards the target. So push forward a little more. More. There you go. Forward, settle, 2, finish 5. Okay? So an excellent way to train this is to get this pressure coming down 45. You take 3/4 of a step. 1, 2. 1, 2. Excellent. Turn. If, can you go tap up for a second? Let's see. Derek, I guess. Sorry. Start here, face that way. Left leg forward. If Derek, or any random person, gets to halfway, and they are 3/4 of the way, they're losing their balance side to side, they're coming up and down so they can't maintain forward pressure, it'll kind of go a little rougher. You go 1, 2, come back. Try slower, squeeze your knees together, get your head back just a little bit, you're going to glide forward slow. 1, better, 2, good, do it again, come back. So John, part of this is what we were talking about. He made this first movement by jerking forward. Jerk. 1. Looks great. He's got a great giant push with his back leg and he throws himself through to where he's stable again. Come back. Start very, very slowly. 1. Nothing. Oh, almost. Come back. 1. Better. I still cheated a little bit, but it was much better. Come back. So he didn't know he didn't have that control because he threw himself past it, which almost everybody does. Start slow. Super slow. 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. Yep. There's. So part of it, you're fighting a little bit your flexibility of your ankles, and part of it is you never taught this leg what to do. So you get past it by pushing until you get your balance back about here. So the very first one side is up. But on the next ones, you want much straighter. So do you see what the other guy was talking about, where he wants you to start slow? It's not because he wants you to be slow, it's because he wants you to work out the kinks.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I'm a big fan of super slow motion training, where your center grabs, your feet grab, you go 1, squeeze, 2, oh, 3, where all the way through I had pressure. And if I had come up just a little bit, I would start to feel it. Or even more common is people in our region over tuck. You get to here and you can't quite finish. This should stay nice and smooth while your feet move back and forth easily. In and out is fine, but not in and out with your body weight, just your feet reaching. Make sense? Great.